Hey guys, Joe here, the guy who's actually heard of a country called what? And I'm here to talk about UFC 288, Sterling versus Cejudo. Once again, I apologize. You guys are getting ASMR Joe again. Roommate, best friend. He's in the other room with his girlfriend, so they're sleeping. It's 6 a.m. here, so yeah, that's how it is. UFC 288. Honestly, I feel a little underwhelmed after the card. I don't know what it was, but I think it's just from the entertainment factor itself. But I'll talk about that in detail, you know. So enough talk. Let's get to the fights. Main event, Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. Bantamweight title fight. Cejudo's coming off of a big break. And people were kind of curious how he was going to look after coming back from such a break. I thought he looked good. I didn't think he looked like he was, really ring rusted. I thought he looked relatively the same as he did back then. So that's good on him. And, on paper, he has a very good stylistic matchup for Aljamain Sterling. But how did the fight go? Because fights don't take place on paper. So they both dudes, this is something interesting I was really kind of wondering about. Who's going to win the wrestling? And it was kind of even for the most part, but Sterling had more takedowns because of the volume of takedowns he was throwing. I think he had like 21 plus takedowns attempted. Could be wrong on that number. But he was just throwing them out there back and forth, just always hunting this takedown down. And he was so much bigger than Cejudo in there. I mean, obviously Cejudo gets a lot of crap for being a smaller guy. I'm a small guy. I'm 5'6", taller than Cejudo. But, it was really noticeable in this fight. And the strength advantage in the clinch was there for Sterling. Sterling was getting most of his takedowns against the cage, where he can just kind of lean on him, put weight on him, get a good grip, and use his strength to kind of muscle him down. And his muscle and technique, definitely a path to victory for him. And on the feet, Sterling's range was just wild. He was able just to kind of blast kicks and frustrate Cejudo with straight punches, having the big reach advantage. Good low kicks from him at times. I wish he went to that well more, but I understand not wanting him to reach down and get taken down. I kind of get that, But Sterling reminds me of he used to remind me of like John Jones, but like nowadays it seems more like old Tony Ferguson. Kind of funky movement. He's nowhere near as smooth or as good on the feet as Tony Ferguson. I want to stress that. Tony Ferguson, unpopular opinion. I think in terms of ability, Tony Ferguson is probably a top 2 or 3 lightweight ever in terms of ability at one point. But he was kind of moving in there, shifting, switching stances constantly, then sliding in with a punch, then trying to slide out, and occasionally throwing a spinning back elbow on the feet. It was very good. And I thought, once again, the striking was pretty close as well. I thought Sterling had an advantage. I thought the first 2 rounds were definitely all Sterling. In my mind, 2 was... the commentators were saying it was close. Call me crazy. I haven't watched the fight back since. I've only watched it live. I didn't feel like the second round was close. I thought it was a clear Sterling. Not like you ran away with it, but, that was clear. Round 3 was definitely Cejudo for me. Round 4 was Sterling, and round 5 was Cejudo for me. That's how I scored it. I had it 3-2. Then when the judges, Bruce Buffer's like split decision, I'm like, my heart just sank, but no, they gave it to Sterling, which I thought was the correct call. Got real worried there. And really curious what happens next, because, Sterling's going to take on Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley got in the cage and came in looking like a douche, wearing sunglasses inside and a Thriller jacket with no shirt. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm old and I don't know fashion. But he dresses like a weirdo, I think. He's a weird-looking dude. I don't know. Cornrows, just a weird-looking dude. I don't know. Maybe I don't know fashion. I'm old. I turn 30 next year. I'm old. But, I'm joking. But more interesting, I'm really curious about is Cejudo. Is Cejudo just going to retire, go back? He has a family. Getting beat up for a living is rough, especially have a family. He's got a family from what I understand. Does he want to just go back to his family? I would get that. Or does he miss this? Does he truly miss this? Does he truly want to cement his legacy and kind of stick around and try to go for it again? I'm really interested in this. I want to see. Very curious. I don't know if I missed something on like the post-fight press conferences or anything, but who knows?
They call me Hell. They call me Stacy. They call me Her. They call me Jane. That's not my name.
Co-main event though, Belal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns. Welterweight fight, potentially for a title shot, most likely for a title shot. We'll see. I don't know about you guys. I thought this fight sucked. I thought it sucked. I don't know. I don't know what it could have been, but I was super bored in this fight. I was really bored. Could have been outside factors because I'm tired. You know, we got a dog in the house now, and the little dude's been running me rampant all week. I don't know. But I felt like this fight sucked. I felt like it sucked. You guys can tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Ain't gonna be no harm for me, you know. I totally get it if I'm just wrong. But I felt like it sucked. I don't know. You guys tell me how you guys thought about it in the comments. But, so Belal just kind of outworked Gilbert on the feet for 5 rounds, switching stances, blasting kicks to the open side all night. Gilbert hurt his left shoulder, it seemed like. And so he was just kind of one arm throwing haymakers from the right-hand side, being a heavy bag, essentially, for Belal just to land at will. Saying this out loud, how does this sound boring? I have no idea. That's just my opinion. Once again, I'm really curious what you guys think. I thought this I thought it was boring. But that said, ignore what I said about the entertainment factor of this fight. Belal Muhammad showed up tonight. Okay? You can bring up all the outside factors like Gilbert's shoulder. Gilbert's fought 3 times this year now. It was a 30-day turnover for him. All this stuff like that. At the end of the day, they both agreed. They both signed on the dotted line. They both. It's not like we dragged Gilbert in and made him fight. No, like he agreed. He was down. He was down for this fight because he was down. You know what I mean? And Belal Muhammad won. You know, is Belal Muhammad boring? Absolutely, I think so. I think he's really boring. I think he's mega boring, is what I have written down. Should that matter? No, it shouldn't at all. GSP is the greatest fighter of all time. I think it's undisputed. GSP is number 1. I don't think there's anyone even close to GSP. And he has a lot of stinkers in there. Come on. You really going to watch that Jake Shields fight again? Come on. Does Belal Muhammad deserve a title shot, though? Over Colby Covington? Absolutely. Absolutely he does. 1,000 times yes. All that mess. Give Belal Muhammad a title shot immediately. Immediately. This sport should work off meritocracy, not excitement. That is what I believe. You guys could hold a different opinion. This is just what I believe. Because if you look at another sport, I'll bring up basketball for an example. Greg Popovich had a boring team style with the San Antonio Spurs in the mid-2000s. You know, they were running zone. They were very team-oriented, and it was kind of like no superstars outside of like Tim Duncan, who's like probably the greatest power forward ever. But that's, you know, this is an MMA show, not a basketball show. But they were a dynasty, and they weren't entertaining, you know. But they were a dynasty. So I feel like that should translate to this sport as well. Meritocracy over excitement. Just saying. So give Belal Muhammad a title shot. The last fight I'll go and talk about in length. Jessica Andrade versus Yan Xiaonan. Out the gate, Andrade coming in, throwing the big, just kind of trying to walk Xiaonan down, throwing the big haymakers, big wide hooks. Xiaonan's just kind of picking her apart in the boxing. Moving well. Landing good strikes. Straight punches down the line. Good jab in there as well. Mid-rush. Andrade is literally mid-rush going for a swarm. Trying to land these bombs. And Xiaonan catches her with a picture-perfect right hand mid-step. Like she's stepping in and it's insane. And Andrade plummets to the ground. And Yan Xiaonan just starched her. Gets herself a title shot. We could have, I think it's the first time ever. I know for a fact, 100%. First 2 Chinese fighters fighting each other for a title shot or for a title. Definitely pretty interesting. Definitely could be this big China show they want to do. Could definitely headline it. Sure, I'm down for it. And for the rest of the card, Movsar Evloev and Diego Lopez had a really good fight. Really good grappling moments back and forth. Crazy moments at times. With Lopez nearly getting some like crazy upset submissions going off. It's great stuff. It was a pretty solid fight. Charles Jourdain made Kron Gracie look like a sturdy fighter, but one who didn't belong in the UFC. Kron Gracie just kept trying to pull guard and walking into thousands of punches to the head and to the body. He was getting destroyed all fight. Matt Frivola starches Drew Dober in the first round. Shocked me. Made me pop off the couch. Kennedy Njoku got a big comeback win over Devin Clark with a guillotine choke. He had some trouble in the first round. Was pretty hurt. He gets it, like, puts him out with a standing guillotine choke. And in Verna Yandaroba, I always butcher her name. Verna got a decision win over Marina Rodriguez. Once again, kind of a crazy fall from grace. Marina Rodriguez says, I hope she doesn't turn into Cynthia Calvillo. I would hate that. And finally, Parker Porter got a finish. That's boy stable, dude. That guy's on the stable for sure, for somebody. But that's it for me. Be sure to catch next week as I will recap Rosenstruck versus Almeida. I'll probably talk about how Almeida came out with a push kick and then shot for a double leg. Once again, he does that. He's going to do it every time until it doesn't work. But also, it was a pay-per-view week, and there is a new retro review for UFC 238 on the main channel. It was edited by our new editor and newest member of the INC family, Max Randall. So shout out to him for joining the INC family. It's great to have him. He's a really, really nice guy. So once again, congrats to and welcome Max Randall to the INC family. I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you for watching.